Okay, recording started. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our movie club. Today we will discuss a movie, The Fugitive. Essentially, just told me Fugitive, G and I always G, right? Fugitive.
Yeah.
I never know how to pronounce things. That's why we have teacher Lisa to correct. Fugitive. Okay, 1993, very famous, I guess. I watched it many times before. I guess many of you familiar with this movie as well. So let's start with the cast. Who is the main characters? Leila, do you know?
Um, could be the Harrison
Yeah,
Ford.
yeah, you can if you don't know actor name, it's fine. So just let's the main characters of the movie. So Harrison Ford is a doctor, right?
Is the doctor right? I don't know the other's name. His wife's name. I'm not sure.
So we have Dr. Richard Kimble, his wife, right? But she actually play episodic role, we can say, right?
Yeah.
Who else? U.S. Marshal, right? Tommy Lee Jones. What was his name? I don't know. And his crew, many people in his team.
His name was easy to remember. It's Gerard.
Good. Okay, what else? Evil, yes, Lenz, an evil doctor, Dr. Nichols, another one, and how we pronounce it? Sykes?
Sykes, yeah.
Sykes, the guy from Security. Okay, now we have, I guess, more or less the cast. Leila, could you please start with the story?
The moment I started watching the movie, I was impressed by the music, and then I saw that it was the night, and there are lots of flashbacks in the movie, I guess. So the film started by the scene of the murder scene. She was struggling. Dr. Kimble's wife was being attacked by somebody. I saw the gun in her hand, and then she was shot by the man, and they were in their house, and only Dr. Kimble's wife and the murderer. I couldn't see his face, and then I heard the police siren. The police came. I saw Dr. Kimble. He was shocked. He was paralyzed, I guess. He was, I don't know, how can I put it into words? He was, just such a straight.
Let's
Yeah.
ask our expert. So when you are under the stress that you almost, cannot speak, you are what? Rocket, stolen it, I don't know.
Paralyzed.
Paralyzed with fear, I guess.
Right. And the police took him to the police station. But meanwhile, there was the flashback, and they were in the party. It is about children's donation. I don't know, something. And the lady was there, and Dr. Richard Kimble went there, took his wife. They were on the way back home, but he received a phone call, then he had to go to the hospital.
So what do you think, how we would call this, I don't know, these meetings that high society have? So they sometimes have this meetings, they collect some money for sake of someone, they, I don't know, chit chat, what else?
Yeah. I'd call it a charitable dinner party.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly for high society, right? If you can donate something, if you can be useful for someone, so probably a limited amount of persons go there. I never was invited so far.
You are not wealthy enough.
So I don't have my $3 million, or how, I don't know what is the ticket, how much it costs.
Yeah.
Okay, but doctors in America, they are very rich, right? Usually, or used to be.
Used to be anyway, yeah. A lot of them are getting burned out and leaving the profession. But yeah, they make good money compared to most people.
I see.
Yeah.
And we can see this by Dr. Richard, right? Because but we also know, we also learn that his wife was from, as he said, from a rich family or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was what is opposite to mitigating? So mitigating circumstances, and opposite is, I don't know, why police started to think about him like he killed his wife.
We call it circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial. So when police learned that his wife is rich and he is the sole like what
Beneficiary, yeah.
beneficiary of her wealth, so it's make police suspicious, right?
Yeah.
Immediately. Well, okay. So it was like a contrived message, I guess. It was like flashbacks and real event and flashbacks again. So it's the beginning. So what we understand, I guess now. So Gerard, would you please continue with the story? What happened? Let's start with interrogation by police.
Yeah, the police officers that interrogated Kimble, they did that like they thought they were sure that he was guilty.
Yeah. I read there is a statistic, right, that it's most likely it's the husband if it's killing inside the family.
They said to him that his wife had an insurance to Dr. Kimble was the beneficiary, but to me it doesn't have any sense because the way his wife was killed, so violent, doesn't add up. It being at the same moment in the house, and people won't want to kill their partner in this way. They do in like feigning an accident or something more concealed, not like this. And
Yeah,
even so, he didn't need as much money. He had a very good profession.
Yeah, the next scene is already in the court, right? And court sentenced him. And what convinced the court that he was guilty?
I don't remember. What did you mention?
It was a recording of phone call.
Ah, the call.
Yeah, and the call was so strange, right?
Yeah, but she said his name, but it doesn't mean anything.
We have seen in the movies that he was going upstairs and she said, Richard, he is killing me. He is there. And the lady of this service, 911, or how you call it? How we call this usually?
We call it 911 dispatcher.
111 dispatcher. So for the lady, for her side, it's looking like Richard is trying to kill me. He is still here. Yeah, so it was like absolute evidence.
Yes, that's stupid.
Okay, Vasants, please, could you continue? So he was moved, commuted, or something. How we call this? Transported?
Transported, yeah.
Okay. And after his imprisonment, he was moved to somewhere else, I think, along with a few inmates are convicted. Through a van, a police van. So while they were moving towards some place, there was an accident. So they deliberately made a plan. The fellow inmates decided to act like one of them was having a severe medical condition. So his mouth was filled with foam. I think they did it with a toothpaste or something. So the guards thought that he needed medical assistance. So without hesitation, one of the guard opened the gate and they started attacking the guards. So one of the guards got shot and the other was injured. So during that protest, the van got collided. They shot the driver too. So the van smashed into the sideways and it turned upside down. It rolled down from the roadways and landed on a railway track. So at the point there was yeah, the train was appearing. So he helped the policeman, one of the policemen who got injured, and he saved him and also escaped from that place. Um,
Yeah, because he
that's
was
it.
unlocked,
That's
right? He was unlocked by another policeman because he said, "You are a doctor. Do something with my partner who was shot or something," right? So teacher Lee told me in our chat there is a difference between jail and prison. Prison is something for long term, right? And jail is something where you wait for your, I don't know, sentence or court or tribunal or something. So can we say that he was transported from jail to prison?
Yes, that's what was going on.
Yes. The question what I wanted to ask. So if he was sentenced to death, right? Why they transport him to the prison?
Because putting someone to death in the U.S. takes 10 years,
10
maybe
years.
20 years, maybe 30 years before we decide to really, really, really do it. Because maybe there's a tiny chance he's innocent.
Okay.
No one ever gets executed the next day. Never. It takes years.
I think the president can indult the person that must die. There is a telephone. There's a telephone that.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched another movie recently. If it's accurate, the way we kill people now is by lethal injection, like a shot. Supposed to be painless. So they were going to execute this one guy by lethal shot, and there were 4 telephones at the execution room. One was from the sheriff, one was from the governor, and 2 others were from somewhere else. So the governor can call and immediately stop an execution if new evidence is found.
I see. Well, in Russia we execute on on the next morning usually.
That's what I would do.
Actually, it's a joke. Actually, we don't have lethal execution in Russia, so
we used to hang people at dawn. As soon as the sun comes up.
But it's a stereotype that people have of Russia that if you sentence it, you will be shot, in the tribunal court immediately the next morning. Yeah. Okay. So police came to the, I don't know how we call it, crime scene, or it's accident crime scene. So police came to crime scene to investigate what happened. Sergey, would you help us with continuation?
Yeah, and I want to tell that security guard violated the protocol for relationships with prisoners because the prisoners were clever, and the prisoners very often made something for escaping, and the security guard got them keys. I think it's impossible in the real life, but because the prisoners impress the sick, but I'm sick, not problem. And when we arrived in the prison, and you will have help from the doctor, but it's impossible. I think it's my opinion. And after escaping, the surgeon went to a hospital, and he went to a room with some old man, and he shaved off a bear, and he changed a dress, and he went to ambulance car, and as we remember, he was a surgeon, and he knows some medical things, and he pretend as a doctor, and he went through policemen, and he stolen the ambulance car, and he drove from far away from the hospital.
Okay, let's start the so what he did to ambulance? It's hijack, right? Usually hijack a car.
Yep. Hijack. Yep.
So he hijacked an emergency car and he escaped and went to the hospital, and he was injured, right? Do you remember? He was some kind of trauma, and he what was the word? Cure himself and take a breakfast from an old guy in the how we call this, in the room? What in the hospital? How we call this?
We
It's a
just
room.
call it a private hospital room.
Private hospital. Okay. In a room, and what else? He changed his appearance a bit and took a new clothes. There was a funny incident, funny like discussion between him and police officer, right? So could you please describe this guy? Yes, it was tall like you. It has the same weight like you, the same, everything the same. Have you seen such a guy? Yes, every time when I look at the mirror in the morning. It was funny, but he escaped, and U.S. Marshals came to the crime scene. So before the class, I learned a bit about U.S. Marshals. So it's a complicated story, like everything in U.S. So I guess so. It's let me like put it in my clumsy words, and we'll ask teacher Lee. So I learned that the service of U.S. Marshal is kind of a federal police for special cases when the case need to be solved in many states, and U.S. Marshals actually. First U.S. Marshals were from veterans in old times, like Washington, or someone made, I don't remember, 15 or like this. Not so many people from veterans took them and said, you are the marshals now who impose the law, and they have some assistance. And it's funny that you can be a marshal only once. So you have your short term for serving as a marshal. It's interesting. So like people are changing all the time. And what else? And they have like a lot of power, right, in their hands.
In America, we have different branches of law enforcement that have different jurisdictions. The police are city jurisdiction. They work for the city and take care of things that happen inside the city. Beyond the city, we have the county, like a province. We have a sheriff and his deputies who have jurisdiction in the county outside the city. U.S. Marshals are federal. They work for the federal government, the U.S. government. They have jurisdiction all over the country. However, their jurisdiction doesn't come into play unless the case moves from city or county to federal. If a crime crosses a state line where two states are involved, now it becomes federal crime. So I'm not sure what happened in this movie, but assuming that the crime happened in one state. So in that case, the police, the sheriffs, the governor had authority over that crime. But if he was being transported across a state line to the prison, once he escaped in a different state, now two states are involved and it becomes a federal issue. So now the U.S. Marshals become involved. So I'm guessing that's what happened here.
Teacher Lee, what about Federal Bureau Investigation? They're federal, right?
Yeah, they're not police.
Mm-hmm. They're for special case.
Yeah, they're kind of like Secret Service or spies, or I guess they're kind of like policemen too. They do, let me think, marshals. Well, I guess think of marshals as the policemen that use their hands to capture people.
Yeah.
Whereas the FBI are more like detectives. They do the law enforcement at a higher level. Normally.
That's why marshals, they work with these inmates, right, who cross the line. So because there is nothing to, like, there is no place for detective, right? The case is solved already. You just need to grab him and bring him back into the court or prison. That's all.
Right. And in all these movies, you always see that there's always an argument about jurisdiction. Well, he's our jurisdiction. You know, he's a state criminal. Yeah, but he crossed into another state. That means it's our jurisdiction. And they always fight over who's in charge, you know.
Mr. Ray, you said FBI, right? FBI can cooperate with the police.
FBI can cooperate, but usually the FBI says, step aside, police. We're in charge now.
Okay.
Usually they take control, and that pisses off the police. You see that with the Die Hard movies. You know, the feds are here. The feds are taking control, you know.
Right.
And they tell the police to go sit in the corner.
Sergey, please.
Yeah, and Russia, we have the similar problem, but opposite problem. In Russia, the police department and the federal security service and the police from different shift fight between each other. Nobody wants to investigate the criminal. No, it's your shift. No, it's your shift. It's your territory. No, it's your territory. Nobody wants to investigate.
Exactly. What we see in the movies, in the American movies, when say it's my jurisdiction, step aside.
Yeah.
In Russia, it's different. It's your jurisdiction. I go home.
Absolutely correct.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's funny. Okay, Leila, have you watched how marshals came? This Tommy Lee
No,
Jones?
no.
Okay, Gerard, can you please describe this guy?
It's a very serious guy who is determined to catch Kimble because his jobs are always suspicious. Even if most people think that he's dead, he doesn't want to believe that until he sees the body. Even when he falls from the dam, so very high, it's almost impossible to survive such a fall. He says, okay, no, I don't believe it until I see the body.
Yes, the guy is very assertive, right? Very like a macho man. So in this crew, I remember that he was not like pleasant to his own team, right? I remember the dialogue when some guy from his team sitting here and guy asked Gerard, Gerard, Tommy Lee Jones asked him, what do you do? And he say, what are you doing? And he said, I'm thinking. Okay, so sink me a coffee and pancake and something else. It was very funny. He doesn't bargain. Yeah, it was another episode about it. So they strike me, these marshals, like they have everything. They have like helicopter. They have whenever they want. They have help from whatever they request. They got it, right? So they have a lot of power, or how we call it, in their jurisdiction.
Authority, yeah.
Authority. Yes, they have a lot of authority. So they chase this emergency car, and it was inside the tunnel. Do you remember? And they blocked him. And what happened? It was something. What happened inside the tunnel?
Inside the tunnel, he pointed his gun, his own gun, the marshal's gun, towards him and said that I didn't kill my wife. He replied that I don't care. Then it was not the answer he was expecting. So without any clue, he moved away, but he had no choice because he was at the end of the tunnel and it ended at right at the edge of the dam, I think. So he had to jump from that tunnel into the river. So
So actually,
Yes.
it was not. It was not a bridge, right? It was a, how we call this, hydroelectric station or something. So it's a
Yeah,
station
hydroelectric dam. Yeah.
damp. Yeah. So it's huge, right? I don't know. It's maybe 100 meters, maybe more. So it's strike me like I would never jump there. Basans, what about you? Would you like to jump?
No way. Even in the air, I would die. Without hitting the floor.
He would die of fright during the fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably
But
will die if I look from this.
but you know, if you consider if they catch me, I'm gonna be put to death. 100% sure, maybe, except that you know you're gonna take 10, 20 years, but you're gonna be put to death. If you jump, small chance you might survive and get away. I don't know. It's a
Yes.
crazy choice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy choice. But we can understand his motivation, right? We believe that he's innocent and he actually a victim. He lost everything. He lost his wife, his family, his life, everything. So and he's now chasing like he's an animal. So his moral state is obvious. He's like I don't know. He's doing impossible things, like normal things. So yeah. Vasants, please.
Yes, and even he saw the uh, crime committer in the killer. That's why he was so stubborn that
Yeah.
he didn't kill his wife. And there is someone is around, living and breathing the free air. So that's made him to such a, how to say that,
Yeah,
persuasive.
he was very decisive. Yes, he decided to have this revenge, right? So and he will probably. I'm kind of surprised that police did not took his words about this killer like to consideration because he was very like specific, right? He described the guy. He said about this prosthetic arm and everything. So
Maybe no fingerprints.
I can't remember, but I think he wore gloves, so there were no fingerprints. Apparently, he didn't leave any hair.
Wow.
I don't know why, but they said under her fingernails was
yeah,
Kimble's skin, not
yeah.
Wow.
the bad guy's skin. I don't understand that.
They discovered that they asked him why you have scratches on her neck. He said when I tried to help her, she scratched me. So it was his explanation. But for
Ah,
police,
okay,
it's
okay,
suspicious, race. I
yeah.
understand.
But you'd think she would have the bad guy's blood on her fingers too from scratching at him, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a movie.
Yeah, it's yeah. So he returned to the city, right? To the city, and I don't
Chicago?
remember.
Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago. And I learned a funny word, and I asked teacher Lee in our chat about this, about L, elevated train. So they always spoke about he's on the L. I can hear this like dictator or someone, usually who is making like announces about stop.
Conductor.
So do you remember they heard some announcement and they said, we know he's on this station close to supermarket or something. But I don't remember. Did he call like immediately after the tunnel or not? Cannot say. Probably he started to find finding his like killer, right? Killer of his wife, and he went to the hospital to learn something about prosthetic database or something. Sergey, do you remember this?
Yeah, and he made a permit for to he made a permit to hospital where he worked earlier, and he went to the laboratory and he pretend as a janitor, and he opened the computer and he tried to find some files about one arms people, and he found the list about one arms people, and he continued to investigate the problem with Prozac or RDI 17. I don't remember. And he checked the list of one-armed people, and after that he understand who killed her wife, and because we have some flashbacks, and he went to the home of the killer. He found some documents about his house, and he found some proofs, the relationships between killers and in his colleagues in the hospital, and he started to understand the problem.
Yeah.
After that, he called to marshals, and he explained the situation with pharmaceutical company, with problem with killer, and he sent some facts of killing. And after that, he went to the laboratory to his friends, and he found some examples of liver after testing the new
some like examples of tissue of these patients that can prove his point of view. We forgot one case which I found, one subplot which I find important because it shows us some characters when he was like searching through this arm, how we call them. So he made a list of suspected suspects, right? It was 4 to 7 people who he suspected, and he started to check them one by one. And for one, he went to the jail. Do you remember? He went to the jail like to make an, how we call it, usually visit in a jail.
Yeah, to visit a prisoner so he could see the guy's face.
Yeah, because he knows the face. It's very simple for him. And what happened in the prison, Gerard? Do you remember?
When he saw the guy, he had the appointment with the guy. He finished the meeting very, very fast, and the other guy, the prisoner, wanted to speak a little bit, but was worried.
Talk to me. I'm lonely. Yeah.
And the police, I think Gerard was after him, and he had to flee. Quiet.
And this guy, Gerard, Tommy Lee Jones, he started to shoot him, right? I remember it, and there was a glass door or something, and it was bulletproof somehow because maybe it's prison or something. But Gerard, he has no doubts, right? He started to shoot immediately when he saw him. So, yeah.
But I don't know, is that true? The police officers in the US are entitled to shoot to someone an arm that is escaping? Is it normal, teacher Lee?
Unless your life is in danger, unless the guy's coming at you with a knife, you're not supposed to shoot, especially shoot to kill.
Yes.
So to me, that wasn't realistic. The guy was on the ground, helpless, his foot stuck, and here he's shooting to kill an unarmed man who's helpless on the ground. That didn't make any sense to me at all.
Yes, yeah. Remember when he was on the elevator, lying on the ground, and don't shoot at him, don't shoot. But why it's logic, you.
What's that, please?
Yes, in India, every bullet counts. They keep a record of each bullet, so they had to submit a report monthly wise, so that I'm keeping the bullet safely. I didn't shoot anybody, something like that. So it is anybody. They cannot shoot anybody.
Same here. Anytime a policeman, maybe not a federal marshal, but anytime a policeman shoots his weapon, after the event is over, he's usually put on administrative leave until they investigate, was it necessary to shoot a bullet?
Yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah, so they want to be sure that you're not shooting randomly and endangering people. You're not shooting someone that's unarmed and helpless. Yeah, there's usually an investigation, just like Vasanth was talking about.
I remember I watched an interview with a Russian policeman, and he was injured hardly by criminals. And they asked the interviewer asked him, "Why did not you shoot?" And he said, "I did not want all this paperwork for shooting." So
yeah.
just the reality.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
so
and even, Yeah, it's better to buy buy from a black market, buy a gun from black market and shoot somebody. It is easier than to get a license, to get a permission from your superior officer.
Yeah, human civilization is always funny, right? We always do everything in the wrong way. I don't know why. Okay, where we stopped. So he kind of understand. Actually, we forgot to mention that his friend, this doctor, what was his name? Actually wrote Doctor Nichols. Yeah, he actually lended him some money, right? And that's why Dr. Kimble like survived with this money and everything. But what's interesting is that everything who knew Dr. Kimble, they were very good opinion about him, right? Like when police interrogated them, would you help this guy? He will never ask me, but if he asked, I would help him. So it's what people say. It's a good reputation, I think. So yeah, Gerard?
Yeah. Do you remember when the black guy, the police officer in the accident, so Dr. Kimble saved him, and in return, cheat rat on him, because I thought I saw Dr. Kimble. Why, he should have been quiet, because at least Dr. Kimble helped him.
I don't know. Sergey?
I think that their behavior of his friends is not atypical for U.S. People. I think because I think in U.S. some people started to call to police, please, and we have the problem with some people from the prison. I think in Russian tradition. In Russian tradition, we have 50-50 behave, 50-50 attitude for prisoners.
Yeah, let me explain more on this. Yeah, we understand American culture by movies mostly, and we see what we see in the movies. If someone is condemned, people say he's a criminal now. I don't want any relationship with him. So, and once I remember we had call with Holly or something, and we discussed that, and I said, in my family, if police came for a member of my family, what will I do? I will take a knife or a gun and say, why you came there? Right? I will protect my family because I don't believe police, I believe my family. And Holly said that in the US it's different. So people tend to believe like to law, to government, to, I don't know, is it true or not? Maybe it depends.
The key is here, these were not just strangers. These were his close friends, his colleagues that he worked with for years, maybe 10 years. They knew him as a person. They had been to, they'd probably met his wife. They knew they were happily married. They, in their hearts, didn't really believe that he was a killer. So they were willing to help him. So, remember, this is his close friends and colleagues. These aren't strangers.
Yep, exactly. It makes sense, right? Many of them says he is innocent, right? Because they didn't believe the court decision or something. Maybe it was a public story. I don't know. So yeah, they can decide by themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, where we stopped. So he understood like this how to say this plot of this. I don't remember the word. So the idea why they should be framed by his friends or something. So it was all about money, right? All about this medical. What it was, I don't remember. Medical knew some.
It was a liver drug.
Liver drug, yeah.
And there was just like right now, when we have a new medicine, we have to test it on many people to prove it's safe. So in the past, Dr. Nichols and I think a guy named Lenz, probably an administrator, I can't remember what his position was, they had run this or participated in this medical trial for this drug. It was called RDU 90 or something like that. And it was supposed to cure liver disease. And it was still in trials. So it wasn't proven effective yet, but the trials were almost over. And I forget how Kimble found out, but he went to a woman doctor in the hospital who studied tissue samples and said, "Can you check this tissue sample for me?" And she checked it, and it was a liver tissue sample from this drug trial program. And the sample was supposed to be from a person that had liver disease or something, and they took this trial, took this drug, and when she pulled the sample up, she looked at it and said, "This is a very healthy liver. This guy had no liver problem." So that made him think, oh, someone has taken a person with a diseased liver that took this drug trial, but the sample of his tissue was a healthy liver. So that made him suspicious. Now, somehow the woman took it upon herself to look at other tissue samples and said, "These are all healthy livers. Not only that, they're all from the same liver." So different people's liver samples were all from one liver.
Wow.
So then he realized someone had cheated during the drug trials to make it look like this wonder drug cured all liver diseases. And that's when he figured out if it wasn't Lenz, I think who Lenz died. He first thought it was Lenz, but then he heard that Lenz got killed, died in an accident. So then he said, well, who else is left to profit from cheating? And that made him think of Dr. Nichols, his friend who's been helping him the whole movie.
And we remember that he said it was a multi-millionaire company, so it's a lot of money because of this drug. So there are a lot of motivations. I also remember the first meet between this guy, security guy, Sykes, and Gerard. Do you remember them? When they meet and he went out, he said, "This guy is dirty. Put your eyes on him." So he started to suspect him immediately. Okay, so let's finish this. So
I forgot something. Did you remember that Kimble rented a room or apartment to a Russian family?
It was not Russian. It was Polak or something.
Ah, Polak. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah. I remember. Police tried to grab him, and he saw the poster probably in the police department, and now police found him. Right? Okay. Teacher,
let me mention something else. What made Gerard, the marshal, start believing Kimble's story was a photograph. One of the photographs that Kimble had looked at during his break-in of Sykes' apartment had a lot of fingerprints on it. So Gerard said, "Let me see the photograph that has the most fingerprints on it." And it was like a picture of I don't remember exactly, but I think it was Dr. Nichols, Lenz, and Sykes all in one photograph. So when he showed that to Dr. Nichols and said, no, I guess it wasn't Dr. Nick. Well, it must have been. When he had previously shown a picture of Lenz to Dr. Nichols said, "I don't know this man." Yeah. But when he found that photograph that showed both of them in the same photograph, he knew that Nichols had lied to him.
Yeah, they were lies.
So that's when he started suspecting maybe Kimble's story was true.
Yeah. And this Sykes, this Sykes guy, he was kind of he looked like a serial killer to me. Where you lost your arm? In a line of duty. Yeah. So
he might have been anti-police because he lost his arm in the line of duty, and maybe they didn't give him good benefits or they didn't take care of him, so he quit and he was bitter. Who knows?
We forget important subplot about black guy. Sergey, do you remember the black guy who escaped from the bus and he was caught by marshals in his place?
Yeah, it was a stupid subplot because the black guy went to his family. It's obviously because he hadn't different options, and the police, the marshals went to this place, and they pretend usual workers and usual passerbys, and they went in the house, and they started to they wanted to arrest him, but the black guy got some guys with hair, and in like
he got a hostage, right?
Yeah, he got a hostage, and U.S. Marshal killed the black guy. And I remember the funny moment when his girl, stop! I thought.
Shut up.
Yeah, it was funny.
And he said, I probably, a guy who was kidnapped, who was a hostage, he said, I probably got a permanent ear damage or something.
Hearing loss. Yeah.
Hearing loss, yeah. Why you did this, right? It's not something that you expect from your friends. At least I would expect some negotiation, something that does not put my life to the danger, right? No one will shoot through me to someone. So when he said, I don't bargain. Never.
But whispering.
Yeah. So it's like opens his character to us, that what we should expect from him.
Okay. Yeah. So the point is, this hostage was his partner, basically, and the black guy had a gun to his partner's head and was holding the guy real close to him. So luckily, Gerard came around from the side, and he immediately shot like 2 or 3 times, bam, 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 and killed the black guy. But the hostage's head was right there. So if he had missed a little bit, he could have killed his partner. So his partner said, you could have killed me. I don't bargain. So Gerard, this marshal had no sympathy at all. I don't bargain. If you had died, collateral damage, too bad. So yeah, you learn a little bit about his personality. He doesn't care about subordinates. In the TV series, the whole theme of the TV series was this Lieutenant Gerard. In the TV series, he was a lieutenant. He always got his man. And he pursued Kimble over like 3 years because Kimble was the only prisoner that had ever escaped him. So he was kind of obsessed with catching the fugitive. Obsessed. If he was in California and he heard that Kimble had been seen in New York, bam, he was flying to New York the next hour. I mean, so in the TV series, it was an obsession with the marshal, the lieutenant, to get this prisoner because he was the one that got away, and it was a smear on his reputation. So this marshal was similarly driven. I'm going to get this guy. I don't care who gets in my way,
Yeah, very dangerous, yeah. So at the end, Doctor went to this, I don't know, seminar, how we call this, some place where Doctor made speech.
It was a ceremony to celebrate the approval, to announce the approval of this new wonder drug.
Yeah. So he went there for a fight, I guess. Do you remember this, Vasant?
Which one?
When he went to this ceremony to meet his friend, when Dr. Kimble, right?
Mm-hmm.
He went to the hotel with the ceremony, the final.
Yes. He visited that place, and he was giving a speech to the audience, and he interrupted. He didn't interrupt exactly. He was standing at the far away from the place, but just looking at him. So Nichols noticed him and was distracted by his presence. So he blabbered and he stopped, and then he excused himself to get a break from that speech for some time. And he said that my friend has came and I need to talk to him. So as he was walking him away from that place, say that Richard started to talk about his scam, and he even how to say that, pushed him, some sort of dodging him. So everybody was shocked and murmured between them. Then he finally said, uttered some words about his scam to those people and went away to have a fist fight with him. He didn't expect a fist fight, but Nichols started to hitting him because his entire plan was now spoiled. He revealed the secret, and so there was a fist fight. And at the same time, the police came and they were searching for Richard. Finally, he managed to beat him.
Yeah.
And saved the police officer also.
I remember a moment when Gerard said, remove this helicopter. And why? Because I don't want to be shot. So he was not worried about someone else. He was worried about himself again.
There's also another point to that, Ivan. During the course of the movie, one police officer got killed, and they thought that Kimble had done it.
In the train, right? In the train.
No, I think this was later in the movie. I'm trying to think. I think Sykes killed a police officer when they were wrestling over the gun or something. And remember, Kimble took that gun and the policeman's gun and put him in a mailbox to hide him.
Yep.
So there was when he was wrestling with Sykes in the beginning or in the middle of the movie, Sykes shot a police officer and killed him. So the police thought that Kimble had done it. So now the police thought that Kimble was a police killer. And police especially hate criminals who kill other policemen. So Gerard knew that this police helicopter was now going to try to kill Kimble regardless of the circumstances because they thought he was a cop killer.
Yep.
So Gerard really told him to get the helicopter away because he knew they would kill Kimble no matter what. And he used the excuse that I don't want to be shot.
I see.
But he really didn't trust the police helicopter not to kill Kimble in cold blood. And he was beginning to think Kimble was innocent. So Gerard was starting to care about Kimble.
Don't tell anyone. Gerard, do you remember this episode in this scene in the train when police officer got killed? It was
this guy with the prosthetic arm that killed the police officer fought against Kimble, and Kimble put handcuffs in the
Ivan, can I ask something?
Of course.
I must have missed something, right? So why they killed Kimble's wife?
Yes, good question. Actually, it's the motive of the movie.
It was a mistake.
Why?
They came there to kill Kimble.
So the Kimble was a danger for their scam. They tried to eliminate him, to remove this danger, and his wife was at home.
But when they saw that she was on her own, Kimble wasn't there. Why? So stupid.
Well, he had been seen already.
He cannot say, "Excuse me, I go home," right?
Yeah, he probably went there to kill Kimble and maybe to look for any evidence that Kimble might suspect that their drug program wasn't honest.
Okay.
Kimble
All right.
might have been against the drug program. It's not really clear to me, but they felt he was a danger to their scam, to their deceit. So they wanted to take him out to remove a possible problem.
Okay.
So when the guy broke into the home or got into the home, Kimble wasn't there, but the wife saw him. Well, now he had to kill the wife.
Wow.
Then Kimble came home a little bit late, I guess, and that's when they struggled. So it was kind of a botched assassination attempt, I think.
Okay. Thank you, Lee.
Okay, what we forgot? What we forgot? I think we covered it more or less. What is your favorite line, Sergey? What do you like?
The favorite line for me is consequences of whole story for Kimble. I think the Kimble was punished because he made a escape from the prison. He has fingerprint on the two guns when Skyle killed the policeman, and he had the problem with fighting with Nichols because he obviously he is not killer, but he had to prove their behavior inside the prison.
Okay, I think I understand your question. Teacher Lee. So this guy was innocent, right? We know now, for instance. Let's say it's clear that we know he's innocent. But he made a lot of small crimes, like I don't know, breaking into someone's house, like hijacking emergency car, like a lot of like damage and so on. So will he be punished because of this?
Possibly. Those are, we call those misdemeanors. Those are small crimes. They might, but given the circumstances that he was, basically trying to save his life and prove his innocence, they probably would not convict him of those crimes.
Mhm.
But technically, yeah, they could. Okay, you're innocent of the murder, but you got to spend 5 days in jail because you broke into this bad guy's house. They could do that, but probably they would not.
I see. You were about to say something, Teacher Lee? No?
Yeah, just a point. In the laundry room at the end was kind of the climax of the movie.
Mhm.
Because you've got Gerard looking for Kimble. Kimble's chasing Nichols. Nichols is the real bad guy. They don't know where anyone is. They're searching for each other. Nichols had hit a guard and taken his gun, so Nichols was dangerous and armed. He could kill Kimble. He could kill Gerard. So a lot of suspenseful moments there. And Gerard took that moment to yell out into the space, hoping Kimble would hear. And he said, "Kimble, I know you're innocent. We found the man. So and so stole your wife's car. He had the keys so he could get into your home without setting off the alarm. We know you're innocent." So he was telling Kimble that he believed his story, so Kimble wouldn't, kill Nichols, for example, and now be guilty of a real murder.
Mhm.
So he was trying to help Kimble by saying, "We know you're innocent. Don't do anything stupid."
To save him, right?
Yeah.
Sergey?
Yes, in my opinion now the plot is impossible because we have everywhere the face identification cameras, and I think the U.S. Marshals would found Kimble very fast.
I don't know about America, but you know, is in China they made an experiment, right? We discussed it once. So they made like 15 criminals, like hard criminals, you know, who knows how to escape, and they released them, and they found them, and it took like, I don't remember, less than an hour, like 10 minutes.
They actually had an experiment where they had one man. You know, like I don't know who he was, but he was part of the test. They had one man out in China somewhere, and they gave the picture to the Chinese government, and in 11 minutes, they had located that guy to the city, the street corner. They knew exactly in 11 minutes. They found him by millions of facial cameras all over the country.
Yeah,
it was pretty impressive.
Well, I don't
In
think
Brazil,
it will take 11 minutes, but I think 1 day or 2 days it's pretty realistic, like term.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you cannot be a fugitive for a week, I guess, nowadays.
But remember, Sergey, this was a 1993 movie. We didn't have all this facial recognition crap that long ago.
Yeah, I understand.
Today, if you've watched the Bourne trilogy movies, if you just walk by a little post, it reads a chip in your hand and knows who you are and that you just passed that little post. That's surveillance.
In 1990, 30 years in Russia, we don't have the private camera. We have only big TV
Professional,
cameras, and I don't know that we would have some private camera. It's a fantastic was for me.
But
Yeah.
I think now we are ahead of in terms of surveillance, because you know in every metro station we have a face recognition program, so you cannot go there if you are under the sick or something.
So you mean every gate has a camera so they see
Yes.
the face of every person?
Yes, and that's the
Yeah.
reason why you don't need to pay anymore, because they detected, you go.
We're doing this for your convenience.
Yes, exactly. Okay, nice movie. I enjoyed it. I like it kind of like it, this assertiveness of Gerard and his decisiveness of, I don't know, his character. So, and I enjoyed very much this way he was speaking when he's pretending for his expertness, you know. For the speed of 5 miles per hour, he will be in 10 miles in next year. So put your post on line 1, line B, and get helicopter in something. It was funny. I enjoyed.
Yeah, so he immediately shamed the local police, the
Yeah.
local sheriff, because the local sheriff guy said, "Yeah, everyone's dead."
Yeah.
And then they got a call, "We spotted a criminal." "Well, sheriff, I guess you weren't so thorough after all, were you? I'm in charge now." And he started giving all these orders.
And Sharif used a name. Do you remember a name? I shared it in our chat. Earl something. Oh, I forgot. A name of marshal, a name of policeman who we discussed. He's a famous figure from the past.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
White.
he called Gerard Wyatt. Oh, no, he called the sheriff Wyatt Earp, right?
No, Sharif White called Gerard White.
Yeah, Wyatt Earp, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's right. Wyatt Earp was a U.S. Marshal, and so was Gerard, but Gerard didn't make a mistake. The sheriff made the mistake, so the insult kind of backfired.
Okay, time fly very fast, so let's make a few slides. So I can see everything. I can see like
You can, one can understand how hopeless the fugitive is.
yeah. How we call this in syringe or something?
Syringe or hypo needle, yep.
Yeah. And scissors, right? Or it's not scissors, it's something to take. Right?
We have a special name for them, but I guess for right now we can call them scissors.
Yeah, they are not scissors. They like pliers or something to fix something.
There's something called a hemostat,
Wow.
It looks like scissors, but what you do is what it does is it clamps a blood vessel closed, and it stops the bleeding through an artery.
I see. I see.
So we call that a hemostat because it stops bleeding. So it's like a clamp. It's like scissors, but it's a clamp that holds an artery closed.
Mhm. Okay, first scene. Leila, would you like to take this?
Of course, with pleasure. And this is one of the scenes. Okay, he was being he was being asked a lot of questions in the police office, right? Interrogation room. Thanks, Lee.
Yeah.
So it was only after the crime, and he was still shocked. He was a kind of, he was frozen, and he was playing with his beard. And while I was watching that, I heard that he was saying, "She is beautiful." I heard that. You see, this is my subplot. And blood on his shirt, definitely. And the guy who's asking him questions looks very serious, as if he had no emotions at all. And I think the room is not very gloomy. I don't know why, because usually the interrogation rooms are gloomy. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I remember that this like semi-transparent glass, and there were a lot of detectives from that side, so they watched him from outside. And what else? He wears suspenders, right? It's suspenders, actually.
Yep.
I think. Strange numbers are in red, so probably, I don't know, some plans or something.
Maybe a calendar. Maybe a calendar, and those are the months 1 through 12.
Yeah, maybe. Safe or wallet on the left, right? For documents.
Just file cabinet. Yeah, we call them file cabinets.
File cabinet. Okay, I guess we can go. Courtroom, right? Vasans, could you please?
Yes, this is the courtroom where you can see the judge and the lawyer is the advocate is prosecuting. You can see the visitor's chair, I think, long chair, and someone is walking down the aisle. I see a person nearby the judge. I think he is a typist or someone who is writing the process of the case. He is noting the important points of the case, maybe. You can see 2 flags. And a small room, doors on the both side of the judge. To leave, it's special doors for the officials, maybe. That's all I can see.
Okay, let me help you some questions. So these benches, they form aisles, usually. Am I right? In the court, can you say?
Aisles, yep.
Aisles. So this, I don't know, this symbols of something looks like a, I don't know.
I can't tell. Yeah.
Yes.
Could be loudspeakers, Lee.
It looks like, but it's unlikely.
Probably portraits, pictures of something. Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to ask something. The people are sitting, right? Do they ordinary people who wonder what is going to happen, or?
These are probably, because at this meeting here, they're just given the sentence. The jury is finished. So
Right.
these are probably observers, family, friends of the family, reporters. These are basically onlookers or observers that are there just to hear the verdict.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So one flag is American flag, federal flag, and another one is a state, right? Chicago State. Probably.
Correct. Illinois in this
Illinois,
case, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go forward. Gerard, oh, sorry, Sergey, could you please?
Yes, and there is a prison bus, and we can see 4 prisoners there wear this different uniform with codes on the backs, TDOC.
I think it's Illinois Department of Correction.
Correction. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, that sounds better. Okay, good.
Yeah. We can see two guards, 2 security guards, and between prisoners and guards there is a lattice. And I think in the bus we could see a bus driver.
So how we call this metal barrier? How we call him?
I'd call it a wire cage.
Wire cage. Okay.
Or wire barrier.
Okay. So police has his. It's not a police, right? Security guy has his badge. And am I right, teacher Lee, that in US a lot of prisons they are like private companies, so they don't belong to government.
Yeah, prison guards are. Yeah, well, we have some federal prisons, but some are private.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I see. Okay, I think we can go. Let me skip a few. Okay, what's this one? Vova, could you please start to describe this? I will help you if needed.
There is hijacked and train. Hijacked run from the train.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So train is moving, right? And it was an intense moment in the movie. He had to escape from this train. I would paralyzed to the death. I would stay on my place.
Has anybody seen him, Ivan?
Anybody what?
Seen him?
Not at this moment, I guess.
Okay.
I'm
no,
not sure.
this is where the train is going off the tracks, Layla, and this train is coming straight at him. It's a runaway train. He's about to be run over by a derailed train, and he's trying to outrun it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would run sideways, but you know how they do. When something's coming after them, they run right in front of it. You know, stupid.
Stupid, right?
Yeah, on the right side we can see a bridge, and it's interesting that these wooden planks, they're like vertical, not horizontal. In Russia we do opposite. We always put them horizontal, but there for, I guess, for strength, for like.
I think those may be railroad ties.
Maybe.
To form a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. They may have laid them horizontally to make a bridge across the ditch. Okay, walkway over the ditch, maybe.
He wears a uniform of, I don't know, prison uniform or something.
Yeah, and prison outfit. Yeah, prison uniform.
And he has his legs chained together, right? At this moment.
Really? I can't see.
I just remember from the movie. That's why.
And I thought there's something wrong with my eyes. Thanks, Ivan.
Okay, I guess nothing more. A lot of mud and how we call when we cannot see well, it's fog, right? Usually.
Foggy,
yeah,
right?
you could call it foggy or hazy. Yeah.
Hazy, yeah. Okay. Layla, what about this one?
Oh, stitches?
Stitches, probably.
Yeah.
Wow. So what happens? So he needs stitching up himself.
He was injured in the train. In the
I
bus.
see. As he's a doctor, he can do this stitching stuff, right? So
Right.
this must be the hospital room.
Yeah, he sneaks into a hospital and he gets some some drugs, maybe morphine to kill the pain, or maybe something for disinfectant and antibiotic. So he gives himself a shot, and he gets the little pliers and starts, and a needle, basically needle and thread, and starts
Yeah.
sewing the skin together.
Lee, in 1993, that was the needle. Now, no.
Maybe, yeah, yeah,
Special device, right? So that
yeah.
like shoots. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
But Ivan, I wonder if anybody can do it himself or herself,
Wow.
by herself or by himself. I'm not sure. I can't.
It's kind of hard to do that at the side, but
I guess, Leila, it all depends on circumstances. We cannot compare normal life to some,
You're right. You're right.
in
My
the
logical
apocalypse movies, they use a stapler.
yeah.
Oh,
Oy, thank you, Lee. No way.
so you can think about that tonight.
What else? Would you like to describe this one?
Yes, this is the place nearby the derailed train scenario, and they made up a temporary camp. They set up tables, light, a typewriter, and some electronic devices. I don't know how do they get power supply for that.
The thing on the right, it looks like a fax machine or typewriter, something like this.
Looks like an old clunky typewriter.
Yeah. So they don't need electricity. They just write by themselves.
Okay.
They got a table lamp there, but I don't know how they're getting electricity.
Could be the battery one, maybe. No.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, I don't understand why they need to build this tent for what? For how much? For how much time they spend there? 5 years?
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Okay, and all of them has badges, right? Or badges with a star.
That's looks like a sheriff, but marshals have the same kind of badge. Okay. So police badges usually look like a shield. Marshal badges or sheriff badges usually are a circle. But they're still badges. Badges of authority.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Good look from there. Sergey, would you?
Yeah, there is a railway crash place. We can see railway with wagons, the typical cover wagons for transportation, some goods with cover. And on the right side, we can see cranes for removing the consequences of crash. And in the center of picture, we can see some cars, and on the right side there is TV cars and emergency cars and specific service cars. I think that's maybe fire workers, looks like savers.
Yellow looks like a fire truck.
The cat
in the hat.
Yeah, the yellow is a fire truck.
Yeah, in the center, above fire trucks, we can see cistern, I think, or part of wagons. I can't understand what is it.
Yeah, some chemicals, I would say, some barrels with something, I don't know. Hard to say. Maybe it's fuel for cranes. I don't know.
I don't know.
Hard to say, yeah. Okay, and a lot of people, right? Vova, do you remember this moment?
Yes.
What happened there?
Richard jumped from the
Dumb.
elector.
You can call it a dam. You know, dam it's like a place where you stop the river by making an obstacle, right, on the river.
He just jumped from the
Dam.
dam.
Yeah, it was heavy decision. I remember there we had this dialogue, yes, about I don't care. It was nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder why they need this metal things, so handles or something.
Yeah, handholds. I guess for inspection purposes, but I don't know why you'd want to. Why would you want to walk there and look down? Obviously, the hole is not blocked, right?
Looks strange, yeah.
Yeah, good question.
Okay, he is painting his hair, right? And
Dyeing his hair.
dyeing. Okay, so dyeing is for any color or just for black dyeing?
Any color.
Any color. Okay.
Dye is hair color.
And this this looks very dirty and very unpleasant. I guess it's a.
Oh man, yeah.
It must be a. I don't know what it is, hotel or something. Okay, the crew of the Marshall in the what they're doing. They're brainstorming. Let's say so. They brainstorm. They discuss hypotheses and all those things. We can see this badge on the right, on the left, everywhere actually.
Yeah.
So it's a Marshall office. Okay, let's me skip. Main guy in his cabinet, in his table. Something strange. It looks like a cannon to me, anti-air cannon or something, but I cannot tell for sure. I mean,
I can't tell. That's weird looking. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, some strange devices. Yeah.
In my opinion, it looks like a metallurgical part. Maybe Martin Furnans. Maybe it's
Okay, some equipment.
But I'm not sure.
Okay, Vineza. But his cabinet looks good, right? On the high floor with a good view from the windows. So looks good.
Go back up one. I'll show you some old technology. You see on the right side that round looking black box? Yeah, that.
Yes.
We call that a Rolodex. You turn the knob, and as you turn the knob, these cards flip over, and those are like addresses.
I see.
So the Rolodex is like a rotating address card box.
I see.
Old technology. You don't see that much anymore.
Yeah, and I can see a ship there. It means there is a river. This river that they color to green every St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. We saw it green in the movie, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me find something with. Yeah, we forgot about Save It Guy, Save It Boy. Vasant, do you remember this scene? Please tell us.
Yes, he examined the small boy. Yes, he went there to check the cyborg facility and to know about the killer, but he was waiting for somebody, but he noticed this little boy had a breathing difficulties. So he checked the x-rays of him and signed on the appropriate medical documents and approved. He gave the approved signature, and he went to the emergency unit and handed the documents over to the doctor, and she thought it was a legitimate signature by a doctor from that hospital. So she immediately admitted that little boy and gave the medical procedures, treatments after that. He did it instinctively. He's a doctor and he couldn't let that little guy die.
Yeah, he was a good guy. We know.
I'll mention in the TV series went on for 3 years. So Gerard chasing the fugitive went on for 3 years. And in every episode, he was always on the run. He was always going to a new town, picking up a temporary job as a janitor or a farm worker, picking cotton or apples. And in every TV series, he usually ended up saving someone's life.
I see.
So he saves all these lives over 3 years, and Gerard's still hunting him down like a deadly killer, you know.
Guy in prison. Yes, this one my favorite. Sergey, do you remember this episode?
Yeah, it is escaping of Kimble from the prison, and we can see the bulletproof glass, and I think we watched a lot of stupid guys in this prison, but I was wondering about it, and we can see special borders which looks like an airport for snake
security post, with
yeah.
something like this. Yeah, it's big luck that glass was bulletproof, right?
Yeah.
For Dr. Kimble.
Yeah.
Okay, let me skip through the rest. His friend, something funny wrote there. Can you see? This is a skull with the bones, like pirates.
Lab, something lab. I can't read it.
I can read tissue lab, but that's all. So probably.
Okay, tissue lab. Okay. Oh, that's where he got the liver tissue sample from, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
I forgot. Yeah.
Okay, how we call it? A lab, probably. The same. Everything is metal. Okay, the posh place, right? Hotel. Everything is in the gold, decorated. International Association of Cardiologists. Okay. Elevator. That moment that teacher Lee mentioned about screaming aloud all the facts to save him from a crime.
Yeah.
And that's the last one, right? And he used this club, or I don't know what is this wooden thing to
Yeah, pipe looks like a piece of pipe or something.
To hit him. Yeah, good movie. In general, I enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I never watched and never heard about this episodes, teacher Lee, that you told us about the series.
It was a good series. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, but it's old and black one, right?
I think it was black and white. 1 year might have been in color. I think in 1 year it was in glorious, in living color, we called it. But most of it was in black and white. Yeah. But the actor was a real. The actor's name was David Jansen. He's dead now, but he played a very humble, mild, unassuming guy. Very nice. He was like a doctor. He wasn't a fighter. He just an ordinary guy like you and me.
Good. I think I'm going to watch one just to be to know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next week. Write your suggestion about movies in our chat as always. Bye. Thank you, Lee, for your support.
Bye.